Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love of the author and me. On to the show. Is he crazy? This is the center of the dark galaxy, and he wants to go in, just looking for death. What does this native want to do? Doesn't he know that he is dying now? This native, who really doesn't know how to live or die, wants to go to the center of the dark galaxy center. Does he really think that the dark power in the center of the dark galaxy can be resisted by anyone? He is looking for death. Everyone in the Thunder Galaxy Alliance saw that the Hyperion was rapidly approaching the center of the dark galaxy, and they all shook their heads and sighed, thinking that Su Yan was really stupid. They didn't know that inside Su Yan's battleship, at this moment, Su Yan was most excited. The energy in Su Yan's body is running fast. In his mind, a huge vortex has formed, and the center of the vortex is a black vortex. This vortex, the dark vortex, is also the central area of the dark galaxy, the only dark area that is not affected by dark forces. Su Yan looked at this dark vortex and secretly said in his heart, "Now, I will enter the dark vortex. As long as I can resist the attraction of the dark vortex, I can reach the central area smoothly, and when I reach the central area, I can get rid of the darkness, the shackles of the vortex, obtain the star stone." Su Yan's eyes burst into two rays of light, and immediately, Su Yan's battleship slammed into the dark vortex. Su Yan's battleship entered the range of the dark vortex instantly. Su Yan's battleship, as if attracted by magnets, stayed in the center of the dark vortex for a while. Su Yan's battleship, unaffected by the dark vortex. Huh? Everyone in the Thunder Galaxy Alliance saw that Su Yan's battleship was not affected by the dark vortex, and their faces showed surprise. How did this happen? How did the native do it? He didn't even enter the dark vortex? How could he do it? It was incredible. I don't believe it. I don't believe that he can really survive in the central region of the dark galaxy. The people of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance all shouted. They didn't believe that Su Yan could do it. "No, I have to go check it out myself." As one person said, he was about to fly towards the center of the dark galaxy. However, he just rushed out a few steps, and was suddenly enveloped by the black storm in the center of the dark galaxy. This is a huge black storm. This storm is like a black cage, trapping his body, making him unable to move forward at all. What? A scream came from his battleship, and his body began to slowly melt away in the dark storm, turning into ashes in the blink of an eye. Everyone in the Thunder Galaxy Alliance was stunned, and one person was wiped out by the dark storm. What's going on here? How could something like this happen? This is impossible. This is unscientific. How could such a thing happen? The people of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance have shocked expressions on their faces. Their eyes are round and they are unwilling to believe their own eyes. The dark storm in the center of the dark galaxy is real. And that person was really swallowed up by the dark storm, and not even a corpse was left. This made them shiver involuntarily and felt fear. These people, one by one, started to back off. The people from the Thunder Galaxy Alliance began to step back, preparing to escape. Humph. Want to run? It's too late. Su Yan snorted coldly, controlled the battleship, and chased after the people from the Thunder Galaxy Alliance. He wouldn't let these timid guys go easily. The battleship that Su Yan was driving was extremely fast and fleeting. The faces of the members of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance showed panicked expressions, and their fighting consciousness became extraordinarily strong. How could their speed be compared with the Hyperion? The speed of Su Yan's manipulation of the Hyperion was very fast. The people from the Thunder Galaxy Alliance kept urging their battleships from behind. In front of Su Yan's Hyperion, their battleship seemed so small. Ah! How is this possible? We were caught up. A person from the Thunder Galaxy Alliance shouted in horror. Although their battleships were fast, they couldn't compare to Su Yan's Hyperion. "Quick, start the battleship!" the man shouted frantically. However, it was too late. Boom! Su Yan steered the Hyperion and rammed the Thunder Galaxy Alliance battleship directly. The battleship of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance, in front of Su Yan's Hyperion, seemed so fragile, like a piece of tofu, which was easily destroyed. Boom! The battleship of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance turned into pieces, and then disappeared without a trace in the dark vortex in the center of the dark galaxy. The whole process only takes a few seconds. The Thunder Galaxy Alliance lost 3 battleships. This made them all feel the pain in the flesh. They have never encountered such a thing. They have never encountered such a thing. In their eyes, Su Yan was like a mountain. They could only look up, but couldn't touch it. Damn it! The people of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance all scolded through gritted teeth. However, in their hearts, they were more and more afraid of Su Yan. The battleship of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance, in front of Su Yan, was like a piece of paper, without any resistance, and could not even hold a single move. Who is this guy? Why can he be in the center of the dark galaxy and not be affected by the dark vortex? Could it be that he really came from another planet? But it shouldn't. We have lived in the central area of the Thunder Galaxy for so long, and we have never heard of such a person. In their view, it is impossible to have such a speed, to be able to cross space and shuttle interstellar. This is simply impossible. Su Yan did it anyway, which is really unreasonable. They all felt that Su Yan seemed to be their nemesis. Let's leave quickly. Otherwise, he will destroy us all. A person from the Thunder Galaxy Alliance, looking at the wreckage of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance battleship, was frightened and spoke with a vibrato. Everyone from the Thunder Galaxy Alliance looked at Su Yan in fear, and they didn't dare to speak anymore. Su Yan sneered, and he manipulated the Hyperion to approach the people of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance. He wants to let the people of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance know what fear is. These guys started to be afraid when they faced death. Such a person deserves to be the overlord of the universe? He Su Yan, not only to conquer the entire universe, but also to conquer all the forces in the entire universe. These overlords of the universe are nothing but clowns. He Su Yan is the overlord of the entire universe, there is no doubt. They are all just cannon fodder. Seeing Su Yan coming towards them, those in the Thunder Galaxy Alliance felt terror and despair. They all want to escape, but where can they escape? They have all been caught up. Even if they run out of this star field, Su-157 will not let them go. They were nothing but ants, and in front of Su Yan, they were just a speck of dust, not worth mentioning. Su Yan drove the battleship and quickly caught up with the more than 100 battleships of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance. Stop for me. Su Yan was in control of the Hyperion, and soon appeared directly above the more than 100 battleships of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance. Looking at the Hyperion, the people in the Thunder Galaxy Alliance were filled with fear and even despair. At this time, they could not wait to find a route to escape immediately. However, even escaping this galaxy would not help. Don't waste your time, you can't escape. Su Yan controlled the Hyperion and fell from top to bottom. Do not. A series of screams rang out. In front of Su Yan's Hyperion, these more than 100 warships were like a piece of paper, easily torn in half. Su Yan controlled the Hyperion and flew in one direction. Boom! On the back of the Hyperion, another battleship exploded. The people of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance fled quickly, and their battleship was absorbed by the Hyperion. They are within the attack range of the Hyperion, and there is no way to resist them, and there is no other way but to wait for death. For a while, they all felt fear and dared not continue to escape. What should we do now? Are we going to just sit back and wait? A person from the Thunder Galaxy Alliance asked a little unwillingly. At this time, they also want to understand that instead of sitting still, it is better to fight. Maybe they can save their lives. After all, their strength is still quite strong. If he exerts his full strength, he might be able to fight Su Yan. However, in this way, it will definitely consume a lot of resources and even cause a huge disaster. This is a huge impact on the overall strength of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance. At this time, there is no choice. In this desperate situation, they can only take a risk. All the people from the Thunder Galaxy Alliance turned their guns and opened fire on the Hyperion. Boom boom boom. Cannonballs cut through the sky one by one and smashed towards the Hyperion. Get away from me. Su Yen steered the Hyperion, dodging the shells sharply in midair. His speed is really too fast, almost comparable to the speed of light. They couldn't see clearly what Su Yen was doing. I just saw that Su Yen dodged again and again, like a cat playing a mouse. They also knew that the speed of the Hyperion was too fast. These shells, like bullets, kept hitting the Hyperion, but they did not cause any damage to the Hyperion. The people of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance are a little desperate, and they have no way at all. Even some high-level leaders of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance are a little desperate. These people don't want to run away anymore, and they don't dare to run away. They knew that if they escaped, they would be hunted down and killed without a place to die. If that's the case, then it's better to let go and fight with each other to see if you can kill this guy. You idiots, won't you run away? What are you still doing here? Do you still have to wait for him to catch up with you and kill you one by one? Running for your life is the most important thing now. Hope, only by being alive, can we hope to escape this catastrophe? Some elders of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance shouted. Under their persuasion, the more than 100 warships finally began to flee in the distance. Humph. Su Yen snorted coldly and landed on the ground from midair. Su Yen manipulated the Hyperion to pursue these warships, and they all consciously bypassed these warships. As long as they don't hit these battleships, there is no danger even if they are hit by the shields of these battleships. They just wanted to frighten these ships and keep them from running away. Only by frightening these warships will not dare to mess around. Su Yen followed these battleships for a few laps, and then he steered the battleship and flew again. Su Yen controls the Hyperion very fast, he is like a war machine, flying in midair. Around Su Yan's body, artillery shells were continuously sprayed, one by one, shooting towards Su Yen, and Su Yen did not dodge. He has the armor, these shells, and it has no effect on Su Yen. However, in this way, the defensive power of Su Yan's armor is much limited, and it cannot completely resist the bombardment of those shells. Su Yen was only slightly shaken, but it was no big deal, which gave these Thunder Galaxy Alliance members hope. They knew that as long as their shells continued to hit the Hyperion, Su Yen would be damaged, and at that point they would have the ability to escape. Keep hitting me. The Thunder Galaxy Alliance, keep firing at Su Yen. At this time, they can't care so much anymore, as long as they can destroy the main gun of the Hyperion, they are not afraid even if they fail. Su Yen manipulated the battleship, in midair, constantly dodging the shells of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance. In such battles, Su Yan's fighting skills became more and more proficient and superb. These shells could not hit Su Yen at all, they could only land on Su Yan's battleship. Ha ha ha, Su Yen, your Hyperion is running out of steam, right? As long as your Hyperion can't hold up, we can win. An officer of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance said excitedly. I know that your battleship is very defensive, but you also need time to recover. Your time is not enough. When I see it, how should you clean up the mess? Ha ha ha, this time, it's hard for you to fly. Even if we can't penetrate the defense of this battleship, it is enough to make him traumatized. When you recover, you are the meat on our chopping block, and we will slaughter it. The officers of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance burst into laughter. Haha, Su Yen, you really fell down this time, you are so arrogant, you shouldn't provoke our Thunder Galaxy Alliance at all. You think that you are strong enough to be able to traverse the universe, and you are too naive. These Thunder Galaxy Alliance people mocked Su Yen one after another. Humph, don't be too happy too early, who will live and who will die, not sure. Su Yen smiled coldly, and the Hyperion moved fast in midair. He manipulated the Hyperion, and the shells flew towards the 31 people of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance. Each shot has thousands of kilograms of force, and the power is amazing, causing the battleships of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance to retreat. No, he's trying to kill us. Run away. Dodge. Some fighters ducked immediately. Su-Yan's speed was too fast, and the shells fell on their battleships, blowing them to pieces. Don't panic, we have so many warships that even if 20,000 to 30,000 people die, they can sink Su-Yan's warship. These men began to command the warships and conduct counterattacks. Ha ha ha, come on. Come on, I want to see how many shells these warships can withstand. Su-Yan looked at the battleship of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance and sneered. There are hundreds of battleships on these battleships, and Su-Yan believes that with the Hyperion's energy reserves, it can still be consumed. Boom! A shell came flying and smashed hard on the Hyperion controlled by Su-Yan. Countless cracks were instantly cracked on the surface of the battleship. This battleship is about to be blown up. However, although the battleship suffered heavy damage, it was still not destroyed. Ha ha ha, this is my latest researched weapon, called Thor Cannon. This kind of shell is composed of electromagnetic particles and has extremely strong lethality. This cannonball is enough to completely destroy your battleship. An officer laughed and said, "Do you have any last words left? You rubbish, only use such despicable moves?" Su-Yan said sarcastically. No matter how tough you are, you must die today. Don't you think your warships are stupid? Do you think that with so many shells, you can destroy my warships? I tell you, even if you shoot all these shells, you will not be able to destroy my warships. Su-Yan said lightly. Is that right? Then we'll fight until your ship is destroyed. Boom boom boom. The Thor cannon kept firing shells, bombarding Su-Yan's battleship, and each time it attacked, the battleship shook violently. These Thunder Galaxy Alliance people don't care about any strategic plans. They only know that what they have to do now is to destroy the enemy in front of them. As for the rest, it doesn't matter. Because they believed that the advantage on their side was very obvious, and they were not afraid of the attack of Su-Yan's battleship at all. All they know is that, with constant attack, they can destroy Su-Yan's Hyperion. If we continue to attack like this, not only will we be unable to destroy his battleship, but our own battleship's defense capability will also be weakened. By then, the energy on our battleship will be almost consumed, and we will be dead, an officer of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance said with a pale face. His words reminded others. You're right, by attacking like this, we'll only get ourselves into trouble and we'll be killed by him. Another officer of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance also nodded. So what shall we do? An officer asked. There were anxious expressions on their faces. What else can we do? We can only evacuate first and wait for reinforcements to come to rescue. An officer gritted his teeth. Evacuate? If we evacuate, our whereabouts will be exposed. The officer shook his head and said, No, we must not evacuate. After evacuation, where will the face of our Thunder Galaxy Alliance be put? Hearing this sentence, everyone fell silent. Indeed, the evacuation would cause great damage to the face of their Thunder Galaxy Alliance. Now they can only choose to back down, because they know that Su-Yan's strength is far stronger than they imagined. If they continued to attack here, their warships would probably be directly bombarded by Su-Yan's warships. Retreat, retreat. The officers ordered all the warships to quickly evacuate in all directions. Su-Yan saw that the battleships of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance were evacuating in other directions. Su-Yan couldn't help shaking her head. These bastards escaped so easily. Ha ha ha, Su-Yan, now that all our battleships have been transferred, it is impossible for you to hunt us down, so I advise you to give up. We will never give you this chance. An officer laughed 157 times. Hee hee, then try it. Su-Yan said coldly. Boom. Another shell was fired, and this shell directly hit the Hyperion battleship controlled by Su-Yan. Immediately, several cracks appeared in the energy cover of the Hyperion, and the energy cover of the Hyperion also began to weaken. Nope, my energy shield can't hold it anymore. Su-Yan's heart secretly complained, if it continued like this, I am afraid that his battleship would be smashed into slag soon. Ha 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 ha. A group of officers were all laughing with mocking expressions on their faces. What are you laughing at? Su Yan frowned and said, You rubbish, do you think that your battleship can defeat my battleship and defeat me? I tell you, even if the battleship is destroyed by you, I can still live. I'm not as stupid as you are. Su Yan, don't install it, we'll show you now. Our energy cannon is not something that the Hyperion can resist. This group of officers is frantically attacking the shield of the Hyperion. Su Yan's face turned gloomy, and his energy shield was indeed unable to support it. If it goes on like this, his battleship will probably be destroyed by these battleships. He didn't care about the attacks of these warships at all. Because of these attacks, it was simply impossible to penetrate the defenses of the Hyperion. The Hyperion battleship has a super self-healing ability. Unless the energy cannons of these thunder battleships are powerful enough to destroy the battleship, they can break the defense of the Hyperion. If the power of these battleships' energy cannons was small, they would not be able to destroy the Hyperion's defense at all. Therefore, their attacks did very little damage to the Hyperion. The main battery of the Hyperion fired another shot. The roar sounded, and the attack of this cannon directly blew a Thunder Galaxy Alliance battleship to pieces. Plus #7. The officers were shocked when they saw that their battleship was destroyed by Su Yan's cannonball. Get out of the way, don't let him hit us. An officer shouted. This shell hit a Thunder Galaxy Alliance battleship, which immediately shattered the battleship, and Su Yan's battleship also suffered heavy damage at the same time. This scene also shocked the officers. How is this possible? An officer's eyes widened. This has far exceeded our estimates. No wonder he dared to provoke the Thunder Galaxy Alliance. Another officer said. What do we do now? Continue the fight, or withdraw? He has now shot down 6 of our warships, and now there are only 2 left. If we do not retreat as soon as possible, our warships will certainly not last long. So what do you say should be done? We can't just sit idly by. If we let them raging like this, the loss of our Thunder Galaxy Alliance's battleships will be very serious. A group of officers were discussing one after another, and a hint of hesitation appeared on their faces. You bastards! At this moment, a rough man's voice came. A tall man with a sturdy aura. This young man is the captain of the Thunder battleship, Marte. Captain Malt. An officer immediately went up to salute. Captain Malt. Another officer followed suit and saluted. What's going on? Why are our ships being attacked and, moreover, losing so many ships? I don't know about this either. Malte looked at the officers, his face was as black as the bottom of a pot. He looked at the eyes of these officers, as if he was looking at a pile of garbage. His eyes were full of contempt and disgust. Captain Malt, here it is, a member of one of our squads. There was a sudden explosion. I suspect, this is a trap. I suspect Su Yan has sent people to attack us. Therefore, we must evacuate here immediately, otherwise, once Su Yan's battleship is intercepted again, our losses will be even more severe. An officer quickly explained. I think this Su Yan was intentional, so let me just say, how could he be so kind? So he already knew about our actions, an officer said angrily. What's the use of talking about this now? You guys hurry up and pack up the battleship and leave the sea area. I will lead the battleship myself and go to meet this Su Yan for a while, but I want to see if he can really destroy our battleship. Malt sneered at the corner of his mouth, and his current mood was very angry. He did not expect that the battleship he had worked so hard to produce would be destroyed by a small Su Yan, 3/5 of the total. For him, this is simply a great disgrace. He decided to kill Su Yan, otherwise, his mood would be uncomfortable, he would be uncomfortable, the entire battleship would be uncomfortable, and the entire battleship would be uncomfortable, then the morale of the entire battleship would drop by half. Malt's mood is very angry now. Captain Malt, now here, you are the most powerful, you lead the warship to retreat, that is the best choice. A group of officers said one after another. That's good. Since you all obeyed my orders, I will retreat first. You cover my retreat behind you. Malt said lightly, and then he drove the battleship and rushed forward. Although his battleship lost a lot, it did not mean that his battleship was slow. On the contrary, its speed was even faster than before. In his opinion, such a speed is very deadly for Su Yan's battleship. Humph, how dare you compare yourself to my battleship? You are really courting death. Malti looked at Su Yan's battleship with disdain. At this moment, Su Yan's battleship suddenly launched an attack on him. Boom! The muzzle of the warship fired hundreds of shells in an instant. Quick, dodge! Hurry up! Damn, how dare Su Yan fire a cannonball? Flash away! A group of officers, after seeing Su Yan firing the shells, suddenly turned very ugly. They also all know that the power of this kind of shell is huge, and one shot is enough to destroy the ocean tens of thousands of meters deep. Boom! 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 A violent explosion sounded, and a cannonball directly set off waves of hundreds of meters in the sea, leaving a huge ravine on the sea surface. The hundreds of shells were blocked by the battleships one by one, and did not cause any damage to the battleship. Those soldiers who were affected by the shells died one by one, and they died very miserably. What are you all doing, bastards? Are you going to let a cannonball kill you? Malti gets annoyed when he sees that the soldiers still haven't dodged the cannonballs. Captain Malt, now is not the time to be held accountable. Our warships have suffered too much damage. Let's retreat first. An officer said quickly. Yes. Retreat. Retreat. By Li Zhao, the rest of the officers also nodded eagerly. 1311. Malt's face suddenly turned ashen. This is an order, he shouted in a low voice. Malti, we know we're wrong, and we're willing to accept punishment. An officer stood up and said. His voice was so loud and deafening that it made Malt's ears hurt. Forget it, forget about this matter. If something like this happens again, then wait for your punishment. Malti said, now, you give me to repair the damage of your battleship, let's retreat first. After speaking, Martyr took his battleship, turned around and prepared to leave the place to order. As soon as Martyr left, he saw a few battleships in the distance approaching them. Malt's face became very ugly. Those battleships are exactly Su Yan's battleships. I'll take you on your way. Su Yan sneered when he saw the Martyr battleship. Don't think you can destroy the battleships of our Thunder Galaxy Alliance, but our battleships are not something that anyone can destroy. Seeing that it was Su Yan, Malti's eyes suddenly became round, and his face was full of hideous colors. Are you the captain of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance? That's good. I'd like to see what your battleship is capable of. Su Yan saw that Malt was still arrogant, and the flame in his heart suddenly burned. Su Yan looked at the muzzle of the battleship and pressed the start button. Bang bang bang. Cannonball after shell fell on Marte's battleship. Boom. The shells exploded, setting off endless smoke and dust, and the battleships were shrouded in the smoke and dust of the explosion. Captain Malt, run, Su Yan's battleship shells are very violent. An officer said hastily, and at the same time he did not forget to wink at Special Envoy Mar. Malt nodded. Malti also ignored those battleships and directly controlled the battleships to flee wildly into the distance. In the battleship, a group of soldiers of the battleship 157, all of them were pale, and their faces were full of fear. They also saw that the soldiers on their battleship were all shattered by Su Yan's shells and turned into blood mist. Seeing the shelling on Su Yan's side, they were also frightened, for fear that they would be hit by Su Yan's shells and then die. Malt, we can't help the fight here, let's go. An officer suggested to Malt. All right. We'll go right away, you all retreat with me. Malti pondered for a while, then nodded and said. He now only hopes that the shelling on Su Yan's side can be suspended. Otherwise, once the shelling continues, more warships will definitely be blown away. After Martyr maneuvered the battleship to leave quickly, the battleships on Su Yan's side also stopped shelling, and the battleships jumped down from the dock and entered the cabin. Every battleship is undergoing re-inspection, and at the same time, it is also repairing its own battleship. Seeing that the battleships on Su Yan's side had stopped shelling, Malti finally breathed a sigh of relief. What kind of monster is this? DBCG, why is his warship stronger than our warship? Malti is extremely depressed. It seems that this time, we have kicked the iron plate. At this time, next to their battleship, there was another battleship, the battleship of the Martyr Legion. This battleship is their highest weapon battleship. Malti looked at the battleship, his eyes widened, because he saw the two metal turrets on the Su Yan battleship. Are these two turrets capable of bursting fire? After Malti saw the two forts, his heart twitched a few times. He knew how powerful Su Yan's battleship was. They saw with their own eyes that their Thunder battleship was directly destroyed by that battleship. Seeing these two turrets being able to fire continuously, Malt suddenly felt an endless chill in his heart. At this moment, he even had the idea of retreating. If they could escape from Su Yan's palm now, perhaps there would be a possibility to survive. It is a pity that they have been surrounded, they have no way to escape, they can only fight. Kill. Boom boom boom. Under the leadership of Malt, the remaining Thunder Galaxy Alliance battleships began to counterattack one after another. Cannonballs cut through the sky one by one, and then smashed into the Su Yan battleship. Hee, the speed of these shells is too slow. Do you think they can hit my battleship with the speed of the shells? Su Yan sneered, then directly adjusted the muzzle, and then fired directly at the trajectory of a round of shells in the air. Boom! The cannonball exploded in the air, and then exploded, setting off a fire that filled the sky. The shells continued to bloom in the air, and the explosion was so powerful that it blew the surrounding void into powder. Bang bang bang! Shell after shell burst. One after another shells, like raindrops, fell on Marte's battleship, battering their battleship, constantly shaking, and constantly exploding. Malti was also terrified, shouting, "Hurry, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up!" However, they couldn't dodge at all. What? When the screams came, the deck of a battleship suddenly burst open, and then, a huge black hole drilled out from the deck and swallowed their battleship. Boom! With a loud bang, the battleship of that battleship exploded in an instant, turning into a pile of scrap metal. How is this possible? Malti looked at the scene in front of him, and the whole person was stunned. Only then did he know that they had met a real rival. Damn, run, let's run! Malt exclaimed in horror. Boom! A cannonball exploded directly in front of Malt. Malti couldn't dodge in time, and was suddenly exploded by the shell, turning into a piece of minced meat. One cannonball directly killed Martyr, making all the Thunder Galaxy Alliance people startled. They did not expect that their highest captain would be killed so easily, and they were all scared to pee. They did not dare to hesitate, and they drove the warships and quickly fled towards the distance. They are not fools either. This time, they are considered to be planted. They can't let their lives be buried here. Humph. Want to escape? How easy is it? Su Yan watched those battleships escape, a mocking smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Following Su Yan's order, another round of shells fell. This round of shells directly tore the hull of a battleship into pieces, and then turned it into crumbs. Boom boom boom. The Hyperion kept firing cannonballs, and every time the cannonballs hit a Thunder battleship, it exploded and turned into a pile of rubble. Quick, run away! The people of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance drove the battleship in a panic and fled in the distance. The speed of the warships was too slow, and they could not escape the pursuit of the shells at all. They were continuously hit by the shells, and the hulls of the battleships were torn into pieces. Su Yan controls the Hyperion, closely following the fleeing Thunder battleships. Under Su Yan's control, the Hyperion is like a ghost, fast like a ghost, constantly tracking those battleships, and then defeating them opposing warships. If you're enjoying my content, please consider donating a coffee. Or checking out my shirts on TeePublic. At this time, those people in the Thunder Galaxy Alliance were trembling with fear. Su Yen steered the Hyperion to pursue, and one warship after another was blown up and turned into scrap metal. They all know that if this goes on, they will soon be wiped out here, which fills their hearts with fear, and their faces pale. At the beginning of the war, they were ready to die, but when they really faced death, it filled their hearts with fear. This fearful emotion also affected the operations of the warships they were driving. In such a situation, the speed of the battleship they were driving became slower and slower. If this continues, it will not take long for their fleet to be wiped out by the Hyperion, which is a very terrifying thing for them. The cannonballs on Su Yan's side were also continuously tilting towards their battleship. The shells swept through the air, and then hit their battleship, making their battleship also riddled with holes. Boom. Puff. Boom. Another battleship was penetrated by artillery shells. Run away, run away. They looked at the constantly damaged battleship minus and roared loudly. They don't even know if they, the Thunder Galaxy Alliance, can resist the attack of the cannonballs. If they can't resist, they may be blasted into slag by such cannonballs, and at that time, they will become dust in the universe. Ha ha ha. At this time, the battleships of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance kept crashing and turned into piles of scrap iron. The people from the Thunder Galaxy Alliance also kept shouting. These Thunder Galaxy Alliance warriors all know that it is difficult for their warships to escape from here, and, in their opinion, in this world, no one can save them and they must die. However, at this time, they shouted unwillingly. No. We will not surrender, never. We would rather die together. Hearing the shouting of the soldiers of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance, Su Yen couldn't help but froze for a moment, and then his brows furrowed. Su Yen didn't expect that these people would still want to die with him. Humph. I really don't know whether to live or die. Since you are courting death, then I will fulfill you. Su Yan's eyes radiated a thick cold light. Give me more cannonballs, I'm going to make all the Thunder Galaxy Alliance warships become scrap metal. Su Yen ordered loudly. Boom boom boom. Under Su Yan's order, the shells flew towards the battleships of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance again. The battleships of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance were constantly attacked by Su Yen and destroyed by shells. Such a scene, even Su Yen was full of emotion when he saw it. He really did not expect that this battle would be so intense. The Thunder Galaxy Alliance, after all, can't do it, they can't escape at all. The warships of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance were constantly destroyed by Su Yan's warships. Their crews were all hit by cannonballs and turned into a pile of scrap metal. In the end, they were all killed by the cannonballs and turned to ashes. One officer after another was torn to pieces by shells, then turned into dust, and finally completely destroyed. Seeing that the officers of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance were killed by artillery shells, the soldiers on the Thunder warship were all frightened, and they all fled in the distance. But how could their speed be faster than Su Yan's battleship? Their speed is too slow, even the Thunder Galaxy Alliance members are slower than them. Under the attack of Su Yan's battleship, the Thunder Galaxy Alliance members are constantly being bombarded and killed by shells. Do not. What? Everyone on the Thunder battleship shouted wildly, and their hearts had already collapsed. Seeing that the battleships were constantly being destroyed by their own battleships, they no longer had any hope, and they all understood that they were finished. Boom. Su Yen steered the Hyperion and slammed into a Thunder Galaxy Alliance battleship again. This time, the Thunder battleship, which was hit by Su Yen, was completely torn apart and ceased to exist. Only a pile of scrap iron remained, floating quietly in the air. Su Yen steered the Hyperion toward those Thunder battleships. His target is those people from the Thunder Galaxy Alliance. He wants to let the people of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance watch their battleships be destroyed by their own battleships. These Thunder battleships are his achievements. This battle, he won. He will use the battleship of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance to tell them who is the master on this planet. Who is the real king in the universe. In such a scene, all the people in the Thunder battleship were extremely chilled, and their eyes were full of fear when they looked at Su Yan. Although the number of Thunder battleships is not as good as Su Yan's, these Thunder battleships, the treasures of their Thunder Galaxy Alliance, are their hope of survival. Now, their hopes have all been destroyed, and their hopes have also been completely shattered. Watching the battleships being bombarded into scrap iron by their own battleships, they could not accept such an outcome anyway. Do not. They roared loudly, looking at Su Yan with hatred in their eyes, as if they were going to tear Su Yan apart. It's a pity that their strength is so poor that they can't hurt Su Yan's battleship at all. They are just shouting here, trying to deter Su Yan. Get out of here! Su Yan shouted coldly. His voice spread among the Thunder battleships, and after the soldiers on these Thunder battleships heard it, they couldn't help but shiver. Let's go. Get out now, don't stay here any longer. We have been defeated, we are not his opponents at all, we should avoid his pursuit first. On these Thunder battleships, they did not dare to stay any longer and fled immediately. They are smart people, they know they have lost everything. Now they can only escape, as long as they can save their lives, they also feel that it is worth it. However, no matter how fast they escape, how could they be faster than the speed of the Su Yan battleship? Want to escape? Su Yan sneered, and then maneuvered the Hyperion toward those fleeing people, chasing after them, and did not forget to continue to attack. Those who escaped, under the attack of the Hyperion, were almost powerless to resist. They were hit by the Hyperion's shells and were swallowed directly by the power of the explosion. The moment they were hit by the cannonball, they were already dead. Boom! The Hyperion continued to charge forward, hitting all the warships of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance. All the warships were sunk by the Hyperion. Su Yan controlled the Hyperion and continued to charge forward, chasing the warships of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance. They're too slow, and these ships haven't been repaired yet. After a while, the battleships of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance were sunk by Su Yan. After this battle, they are completely over. The Thunder Galaxy Alliance will no longer belong to this star field and will be removed from this star field. Ha ha ha, Su Yan looked at his record and laughed. The damage of the Thunder battleship was very fast, and it was impossible to recover in a short period of time. This is also a very normal situation. Because of the defensive power of the Thunder battleship itself, 157, it is very powerful. It is still a kind of high-end goods, they can withstand the bombardment of ordinary battleships, even if they encounter battleships, they also have great confidence, and they will not be easily bombarded. Now that their Thunder battleships were destroyed by Su Yan at one time, they naturally had no way to repair them. During this period of time, there was no way for them to play against Su Yan. Their Thunder warships will also fall into a dormant state, and they cannot leave the sphere of influence of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance. They have already lost. This is an unalterable ending. They can only choose to compromise, choose to be soft, and then wait for their clan to recover, and then seek revenge for Su Yan. In this way, Su Yan saved a lot of trouble. Ha 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 ha, the Thunder battleship was overturned by me, and the Thunder Galaxy Alliance was destroyed by me. Su Yan laughed. How cool. In the Thunder Galaxy Alliance, their army chased and killed their army all the way. I don't know how many Thunder battleships they killed, completely slaughtering the entire Thunder Galaxy Alliance army. This operation of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance was a complete failure and was completely destroyed. This time, in the Thunder Galaxy Alliance war, Su Yan won the final victory. The Thunder Galaxy Alliance was completely annihilated by Su Yan, and it has ceased to exist since then. The people of the Thunder Galaxy Alliance are completely dead. All their ships were sunk by Su Yan. Su Yan confiscated all these Thunder battleships and checked them. Among these Thunder battleships, some are technological products of their Thunder Alliance, and Su Yan has no interest in these technological products. These things, for him, have no meaning, what he needs are other resources of this universe. Among these universes, there should not be many benefits, only some precious materials. Su Yan steered the battleship toward another universe. In front of them, there was a new interstellar area, which was also where he was going next. This place was rich in resources, and they needed it, so he to explore. Su Yan steered the battleship and flew forward. After a while, he shuttled through this new space. Bang! Suddenly, a huge black hole appeared ahead. Where this black hole appears, space is distorted. Su Yan's battleship stopped, and when he looked up, he found that on the edge of this black hole stood a monster covered in black mist. Those black mists are his enemies. However, Su Yan didn't have too many worries. Because he has a trump card. That is, he owns the Hyperion. He drove the Hyperion and flew towards the black hole. When approaching the black hole, Su Yan maneuvered the Hyperion and stopped at the edge of the black hole. Inside the black hole, the black mist filled the air, and there was a behemoth inside. Its body was hundreds of feet in size. It was about 2 or 3 times bigger than the Hyperion where Su Yan was on. Su Yan's Hyperion was just a small boat. Black holes are formed by a special kind of energy. This kind of energy is an energy shield that can block all the energy outside and will not leak out. This energy shield can only last for a period of time. Once this energy shield is destroyed, the black hole will collapse. Su Yan piloted the Hyperion and flew into this black hole. Boom boom boom. Inside the black hole, a violent explosion sounded, and blobs of flame spewed out from the black hole. Those flames, like meteors, sputtered out towards the surroundings, smashing towards the surroundings. In this black hole, there are some special metallic materials. These metal materials are used to resist this energy and protect this black hole. These metals, constructed from some rare minerals, are not as hard as those used by Su Yan, but they are also exceptionally tough. Inside a black hole, they can withstand these dark energies. Boom! Su Yan steered the Hyperion and shuttled quickly inside. In this black hole, the sound of explosions was continuously transmitted, and all those explosions bombarded the energy shield of the Hyperion. Those explosions did not harm the Hyperion's energy shield in the slightest, and were still blocked by the energy shield. The Hyperion shuttles through the black hole very fast. Su Yan steered the Hyperion and shuttled through the black hole for a long time. Finally, the Hyperion passed through the black hole and appeared in a void. Su Yan controlled the battleship and landed on the ground. Huh. He let out a long sigh. He stayed in this universe for almost half a year. His armor has long been honed to be very sharp. 2.6 Now Su Yan's armor can resist stellar weapons. Attacks, not afraid of these energy cannons. Now the Hyperion is his exclusive battleship, and it is also the Hyperion's most powerful means of attack. Where is this? Su Yan looked at the environment in front of him. This place was somewhat similar to the place where Su Yan stayed in the Thunder Galaxy Alliance, except that there were no Thunder battleships in this place. He steered the Hyperion toward the front. There are many planets in this universe, and there are also many lives on this planet. Su Yan maneuvers the Hyperion to shuttle between planets. Su Yan is looking for any good mines or planets. Shuttled in the Hyperion, he was constantly looking for suitable or veins or planets. In the process of shuttle, he has found a lot of mineral deposits, whether it is metal mines or ore mines, there are all of them, and even some minerals contain powerful energy. Among these minerals, Su Yan also found many special treasures. However, those treasures, Su Yan did not take away. The value of these things is not high, but for him, they are very good treasures. His goal is the energy mine. Su Yan has been looking for energy mines. In this universe, except for the Thunder Galaxy, which has energy mines, the rest of the universe has energy mines. He is not in this star field. Su Yan can only look for energy mines in this star field. Su Yan doesn't know how far the Hyperion can travel. He can only travel between galaxies first, and then go to find other planets. Call out. Su Yan steered the Hyperion and flew into the distance. He wants to find a suitable mine, and then dig it to get more energy to repair his Hyperion. Although his Hyperion is a battleship, 31 is not only combat power, his defense is also extremely strong. Even if it is an ordinary stellar weapon, it is difficult to destroy the Hyperion. The Hyperion shuttled through this star field, moving forward rapidly. He traveled through this star field for a month. During this month, Su Yan had found many energy mines, and even many veins. During the course of the year, however, the Hyperion encountered a dangerous problem. His Hyperion, in this star field, encountered another black hole. This black hole is about the same size as the black hole he is in, and the dark energy inside is more intense, and the energy in the black hole is even more violent. This black hole is exactly the energy mine that Su Yan is looking for. The Hyperion entered the black hole. The Hyperion is very fast, and he also has a protective energy shield, which will not be damaged by the energy collision. In the black hole, energy is constantly surging, and waves of energy are constantly attacking the Hyperion. The dark energy in this black hole is very violent, and this dark energy is very thick, like a layer of gray clouds, covering the entire sky. In these gray clouds, there is an endless terrifying power hidden. The Hyperion's energy shield constantly resists the erosion of dark energy, but there is no way to eliminate those dark energy. The dark energy is constantly digging into the Hyperion. If it goes on like this, the Hyperion will not last long at all, and the Hyperion will also be swallowed and turned into ashes. How so? Su Yan looked at the scene in front of him, and his face became solemn. In the black hole, the dark energy is very violent, even if his strength is strong. In this case, his strength cannot be used too much. The Hyperion's energy shield has no way to resist the impact of these dark energies. The defense of the Hyperion is very powerful. But now, the defense of the Hyperion can't resist the erosion of these dark energies. Su Yan couldn't help but have a headache. The power of the Hyperion's energy shield is very powerful, and the Hyperion also carries a large number of warships. But now, in this black hole, his battleship has also lost its function. The Hyperion is stuck. Under the erosion of dark energy, the Hyperion kept shrinking, and its speed slowly slowed down. In this black hole, the Hyperion's route has become somewhat deviated from its original trajectory. In the black hole, Su Yan maneuvered the battleship, and his mind became active. Instead of searching for energy mines, he focused his attention on this black hole. His eyes were fixed on the dark gray energy. This piece of dark energy is the energy mine. The moment the Hyperion entered the black hole, he had already seen that there were many black ores floating in this black hole. These minerals are very small, only the size of a baby's fist. Next to these black ores, there are many strange things. Are these ores? Su Yan carefully observed these black ores. In this black ore group, the number of these ores is very rare, and most of the ores are a kind of black material, which looks like very unremarkable. The quality of these ores is relatively poor. The quality of these black ores is not good, which is a fatal problem. But Su Yan took a closer look at these ores and found that there was actually a slight connection between these ores. This slight connection makes these ores have a mysterious power, and this mysterious power can maintain a certain energy supply. These ores, like particles, float in the dark gray energy, and they will absorb each other and absorb the gray energy. Su Yan looked at it for a while and found that there was a lot of energy in these ores. In this black hole, the energy is very sufficient, and it is full of strong energy. The energy in these ores is very pure, and the power between these ores is not very balanced. The accumulation of such ores is like a treasure house. It is a pity that the quality of these ores is really high. Too bad. Su Yan said. If these ores are placed on the outside world, they must be precious treasures, but in this black hole, they are just garbage-like existences. The dark energy of these garbage will only waste this garbage. Su Yan controlled the Hyperion and headed towards these ores. The Hyperion is here, and the defensive energy of the energy shield has been affected to a certain extent, so there is no need for Su Yan to use a too advanced defensive shield. He controlled the Hyperion and headed towards the ores. The speed of the Hyperion was significantly reduced, and it was no longer full acceleration. But even so, his speed is not too low. After all, this battleship also surpassed the height of 500 meters. If his speed is not reduced, it is quite terrifying. Even in a black hole, the speed will be very fast. In this black hole, everything is very strange. This black hole is very huge. Suyan's speed is not fast. He needs to be careful, otherwise, he will get lost if he is not careful. In this black hole, time passes so slowly that it seems to stop. The Hyperion sailed for 3 days, and only reached halfway, and was far from the galaxy he wanted to go to. In the depths of the black hole, there is a black hole. The diameter of this black hole is 2 billion kilometers in size. In this black hole, the dark energy is very powerful, and it is very sticky, which makes people feel a little suffocated. These dark energies are formed by those gray energies. Gray energy, also known as a black hole, attracts dark energy, emanates from the black hole, and enters the Hyperion. The Hyperion entered this black hole, and I don't know how long it could last. However, according to the speed of the Hyperion, in 10 days at the latest, the Hyperion will be able to escape from the black hole and return to the universe, and at that time Suyan can also obtain a black hole crystal. In the black hole, Suyan also did not find any special mineral resources. This black hole is a dark area independent of the darkness. After the Hyperion entered the black hole, the detection instruments on the Hyperion immediately failed. The detection instruments on the Hyperion were only able to detect a little signal nearby. Suyan is not in a hurry to explore black holes. He has collected maps of these black holes. Prepare to wait until the detection instruments on the Hyperion have resumed function before exploring the black hole. Although this black hole is not very big, the dark energy within this black hole is extremely huge. The dark energy here is very powerful, and within this dark energy, there are also some strange-shaped items. Suyan guessed that these items should be some or something else. After the Hyperion entered the black hole, on a planet, a soldier in military uniform was patrolling the planet. He carries all kinds of instruments on his body, and the data lines of some instruments are still working, and he is monitoring the situation here through various aspects of monitoring. On the screen of their instruments, there seemed to be flashes of pictures, and these pictures were exactly the pictures of the Hyperion spacecraft. This officer is called Mark. This planet is under Mark's jurisdiction, and the interstellar wars here are very frequent, and battles often take place here. Mark is in charge of patrols and inspections here, and there is also a huge fleet on this planet, which is his army. Mark is a practitioner of the star realm. The operation of the Hyperion made Mark very surprised. He did not expect that so much dark matter would be found here. This is a very precious thing. The Hyperion is a super warship with a high value, and if this warship is brought back, Mark can get a lot. This Hyperion battleship is also a high-end technological equipment. Mark wants to grab the battleship. He has been here for several years. This battleship is really amazing. These battleships are like battle fortresses, but I will definitely find a way to get them. Mark said silently in his heart. The Hyperion, after flying in this dark black hole for about 4 or 5 hours, resisted to the end of the black hole. At the edge of the black hole at the end, there is a gray fog. The gray fog was very dense, and under this gray fog, a dark scene, under the gray fog, could not see anything. There is no sun in this world, and the light here is relatively dim. However, this place is not real darkness, but is composed of dark energy. These dark energy are very powerful, and these dark energy are wrapped with various substances. These substances are very rare, and they are somewhat similar. For some special metals, some are very common metals, but they are different from metals. There are also many substances in it, but they are all very ordinary things, that is, some energy. In these substances, there is still a very small amount of energy, which is very pure. This black hole is the legendary interstellar black hole? Suyan observed the black hole in front of him, and he could feel that the black hole was very terrifying. This black hole seems to be formed by the explosion of a star. The energy contained in it is very huge and very chaotic. This black hole is a huge black hole. The black hole is full of violent energy. This black hole seems to be able to swallow these meteorites, and the energy on these meteorites is also part of the black hole. Su Yan said in his heart. The energy on these meteorites is very huge. If you can take these meteorites away, you can make a lot of money. However, if you do this, they will definitely be discovered by those forces. At that time, Su Yan will be in trouble. These black holes are the gathering points of these dark forces. The strength of the dark forces is absolutely terrifying. They dare not provoke the dark forces easily, so in these gathering points of the dark forces, there must be a rule, that is, it is not allowed to destroy the gathering points of the dark forces at will. Su Yan didn't dare to offend, so this black hole, to him, was a treasure trove, but it wasn't his goal. What is inside this black hole? Su Yan muttered to himself. He wanted to find out the secrets inside the black hole, but this black hole, like a bottomless pit, has nothing in it. This black hole looks like a black hole, but in fact there is nothing in it at all. There is no life in this black hole. Is it because this is space? If this is the case, then, by Li Zhao, this is not a place where life gathers. Su Yan guessed in her heart, that should be a star, right? Stars also have the characteristics of some stars. For example, the size of stars is relatively large, but under the illumination of the sun, the surface of the stars will turn white, and the water inside the stars will be lost, and it will become white water. Under the outer shell of the stars, there is also a layer of film. This film is to protect the planet from being hit by meteorites. Su Yan guessed that this black hole should also be a star, just a relatively small star. If it is a relatively large star, more stars will fall and smash the entire star. Su Yan thought about it for a long time, but couldn't think of a suitable explanation, so she had to temporarily abandon this matter and continue on her way. Along the way, Su Yan also encountered many stars, and the appearance of these stars was similar to this black hole. Seeing these stars, Su Yan felt a sense of intimacy, and he didn't know why he felt this way, but Su Yan's feeling was real. He was sure that he had been to such a black hole once. Strange, the matter on these stars seems to be exactly the same as the matter in the black hole. If this is the case, then here is the interstellar black hole. But how are interstellar black holes born? Could it be said that black holes were created by humans? If so, then it would be a bit incredible. In this case, where did those human beings who traveled in the universe come from? Is it actually made by humans? Such an idea suddenly popped into Su Yan's mind. In his theory, it is impossible to do it at all. After all, with so many human beings entering the universe, how could it be possible to create a black hole? These black holes must have arisen from some special black holes in the starry sky. If it is a black hole generated from space, it is also unrealistic. Therefore, Su Yan can only keep this idea in his heart and don't think about it for the time being. These black holes, in Su Yan's eyes, all turned black. He could only see a black piece, and he couldn't see whether there was anything in the black holes at all. 170 in the vicinity of the black hole, Su Yan saw a lot of black holes, and next to these black holes, there are black hole groups. It seems that this black hole group should be a large black hole group, and there is more than that. I am still very far away from the black hole. It is estimated that I will have to wait for a while before I can reach the black hole group when I get this planet. Su Yan thought to herself. How big is this black hole group? Su Yan muttered to himself. The number of this black hole group is very large, generally more than 10 million kilometers, but this black hole group is boundless, and Su Yan now, even if he flew for 100 years, it is estimated that he will not be able to reach the core area of this black hole group. It seems that we can only slowly find the core of the black hole. However, since this is a black hole, then there must be planets. Su Yan said. He also knows that this black hole is in space, and this planet is also space, so this planet should be the core of a black hole, and it is still a very large black hole. If it is on the Earth, then the black hole must be on the surface of the Earth, but in space, Su-yen can't see clearly and can only see with his eyes. How big is the planet? In space, he couldn't feel the temperature of this planet, which made him very depressed. Su-yen wants to explore the core of the black hole, but he has not even touched the edge of the planet, let alone the core of the planet. In this black hole, there are a lot of dangers, but Su-yen is not afraid of these dangers. After flying for 2 days, Su-yen finally saw the distant planet. On those planets, a lot of life was scattered. Su-yen flew over those planets and carefully observed those planets. Su-yen found that on these planets, there are many civilizations, and he also found that there are several civilizations with technology. These technologies should have spread from outer space. Su-yen said that he found that these civilizations were all on a planet in space. In the starry sky, there are endless stars, and the light of these stars is very strong. Could it be that human beings live on these planets? Su-yen said in surprise. If these planets are really created by humans, then the technology of these humans is too powerful. Su-yen looked at those stars. On the sun, there was a huge red fireball, and this fireball radiated hot light. This fireball should be a volcanic eruption. I wonder how the human beings on these planets live. Su-yen thought to himself. Su-yen flew around in the starry sky, then, DBCG, landed on these planets. He landed on a planet. This is a small planet, and Su-yen landed on this asteroid, which immediately attracted a large number of people's attention. Lots of weapons. Su-yen glanced at it and found that the planet was full of weapons such as artillery and laser guns. As expected of a star, the technology here has developed to such an extent. Su-yen said with emotion. Su-yen flew for a while and found that there was no life on this planet, so it didn't stay here. Su-yen left the planet and flew to other places. Another month passed, and this time, Su-yen discovered another planet. This time, it was a little more interesting. Su-yen thought to herself. This time, Su-yen did not stop, but continued to move towards the planet. Just as Su-yen flew to that planet, Su-yen saw that, in front, a star warship suddenly rushed out. There are many people on this star battleship. Seeing this scene, Su-yen did not dare to neglect. He immediately accelerated to avoid the attack of this star warship. On this star battleship are the liaison officers of the 2 planets, and they are monitoring the pictures on the star network. Who are you? You dare to break into the territory of our stars, don't you want to live? The 2 stellar battleship liaison officers stared at Su-yen angrily. Hee hee. Su-yen laughed. What are you laughing at? The 2 said. Su-yen ignored the 2 and continued to fly forward. Do you think we dare not kill you? You immortal thing, we are the territory of the stars, you dare to break into our territory. You bastard, I'm going to send you to prison. After the 2 finished speaking, they were about to control the stellar battleship to hunt down Su-yen. At this time, the communicator in the star battleship suddenly rang. Report to the chief that an outsider has been found. The 2 stellar battleship liaison officers said. At this moment, a man in a military uniform walked out of the stellar battleship. Is there anything unusual? The man in the military uniform asked suspiciously. This man in military uniform is the person in charge of this planet, called Reynolds. Report to the chief, he stopped 500 kilometers ahead of our star warship. 500 kilometers away? Reynolds was stunned when he heard the words, so fast? Reynolds thought to himself, we found our stellar battleship so quickly, this human is really amazing. Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.